Welcome to Cigar City Radio, episode number 24. I'm your host, Randy Ojeda, and making the magic happen, Mr. Jason Solanas.
You know, sometimes I...
Just move on. Just run the social tag. If you love Cigar City Radio, and we really hope that you do, you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We encourage you to leave a review in the iTunes store and share the show with your friends. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Cigar City Radio, and you can email us at cigarcityradio@gmail.com. Big thanks to everybody who came out to our Noche Buena party at South by Southwest. It was a grand success, very well attended, awesome time. Big thanks to Rachel and Stay Gold. Also, special shout out to the real MVP of the night, Grace, our sound engineer. She was phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we had, ended up being 14 bands of...
Yeah. Well, it was her and Luke. Luke did some of the work.
Shout out to Luke,
incredible.
too. Yeah. But Grace was there for the bulk of the night, especially when things were getting interesting towards the end, and she really held it down. The sound was phenomenal, and it was just a great time. Big thanks also to, of course, all the bands for performing. We got nothing but great feedback from everybody in the audience about all the bands.
Yep.
It was
also, thanks to Thax Douglas for showing up and surprise poeming the fuck out of our heads.
Yeah. The legendary Thax Douglas. We weren't hip until the end of the night, but by the end of the night, we were hip. He was a fixture of the Chicago area music scene, and he would begin shows with poems that he wrote directly inspired by the bands that he was writing the poems for. And I mean, he's done this for the Arctic Monkeys, for the Flaming Lips, for Passion Pit, Pavement, like so many bands, Spoon. Like, you can just go down the list of amazing bands that have been memorialized through the great poetry of Thax Douglas. Yeah. And he came out to our show totally unexpected and did a couple poems for some of the bands that were performing. And really, he stuck around like pretty much the entire night, and
he rocked it.
Yeah, he was rocking harder than anybody in the building, and people were rocking pretty hard that night. So, big shout out to him for coming out and supporting us, and shout out to you if you came. We really appreciate it. We're gonna be doing another one next year, and we've also got some other Noche Buena parties around the country. The announcements coming soon. Our guest on this episode is Brian Bell, guitarist from the legendary band Weezer, and also the frontman for the band The Relationship. The Relationship has a new record coming, Glada Obscura, which Brian talks about in this interview, and their single Break Me Open is available now. For more information and tour dates, head to therelationshipband.com. So here it is, episode 24. Legendary Weezer, also now here at South by Southwest with The Relationship.
That's correct.
It's just an awesome band.
Thank you very
I feel
much.
like leading up to South by Southwest, I saw The Relationship like on every flyer.
Cool.
Like, it's like you guys are doing so many shows.
You saw the
here
name.
this week.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
No, I haven't seen the band yet. I'm trying to catch one of the sets this
one
week.
reason that I personally like the name The Relationship is that it's one of those band names that you can see it once and it's like you remember it.
Yeah.
With so many other band names, I personally forget the name as soon as I hear it.
Yeah. If you have to ask twice, I feel like it's not a good one.
But it is a very powerful word when you think about it. And it works for us and it works for the music that we're making.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of letters. It's a long name. It's a long name.
Yeah.
So we have to live with that. But I like the positives more than the negatives to it.
Yeah, for sure. So when did you get into town? How long have you been in Austin?
Got in yesterday afternoon around 3. First show was about 2 hours after I landed. Mm-hmm. And that was like stepping into the fire. you
Yeah,
know?
right. All the energy of South by
the
Southwest.
energy. It was a good thing to not know it, to not have absorbed the energy yet, to just step into it cold.
Yeah.
It was as good as performance as you could possibly imagine for that situation.
For being 2 hours
I'm
off.
proud
a plane.
of my band for pulling it together, and everyone involved. Yeah,
That's awesome.
and the audience too. The audience energy was great, and it was great to see some familiar faces in the audience.
Where did you play at?
I don't know.
It's just true rock star answer.
It was
right there.
well. It's not. I'm not like to be that, nonchalant or whatever. But it was an outdoor. It's one of those names that probably would play like clubs. Like goes in one ear and out the other.
Well, that's the thing. That's
Yeah.
like that's kind of with South by. It's like I don't even know where we're going next. It's like there's so much going on.
I know
here
we
that-
played Barracuda
Oh,
that
great
night
venue.
because that's a great name.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of venues here with great names like Barracuda, the Mohawk. Just a lot of cool spots.
Emos.
Yeah.
That's still around, right?
Yeah, Cheer Up Charlie's was another great name. So the relationship, new single, "Break Me Open," which we were just listening to actually, and here
cool.
is awesome
you.
track. I
Thank
love
you.
the psychedelic vibe.
None of it was planned or premeditated as far as the kind of vibe or sound we were going for. It was just really, these songs were originally written on an iPhone recording with acoustic guitars.
Really?
Yeah. And it's about crafting the song first and then going in the studio and filling it up. And doing the bridge section, I had the melody, and my voice to me wasn't sexy enough for the part. So I was like, what it needs is female vocals as an instrument, It's almost as if, you hear like what it needs really is an oboe, a certain timbre. I'm really glad I did that because I've been getting some Serge Gainsbourg comparisons for that section of the song.
Really?
And I'm very thrilled about that. That definitely wasn't my intention to get that comparison, but I like it.
Yeah. So now, for the relationship, are you writing all the tunes, or do you guys write together?
I co-write. Definitely have everyone's input makes better music.
Yeah, that's true.
Deeper music, and everyone has some contribution to play in the overall sound. Some of these songs were solely my song that I would bring into the band, and others I co-wrote with a guy named Luther Russell.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Right on. And then, so this is the first single from the album that's coming out, right? This is the first single that, I think so. And then we did 2 videos so far for the first song off the record, which is now, I can now say what the name of the record is. It's Clara Obscura. It's a fictional female with a name that means clear and obscure. And nice mashup.
It's a nice mashup, and depicts a lot of girls I know. And also, the sound to me of the record was not necessarily clear and obscure, but light and dark.
Yeah,
there was some darkness, and also wanting to come out of the darkness into the light, and that's kind of what "Break Me Open" is all about. But we also have a song called "Missing," and which we've just shot a video for, and we shot a video for "Break Me Open," and we're about to shoot a video for a song called "Without Me."
Wow,
which is coming to the realization that someone is just fine without you. So you're saying without me, your life goes on without me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of without you songs, but not a without me song that I know of.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like, because people can be fine without.
Yeah,
your
and it's coming
influence.
coming to grips with that.
Yeah, that things can go on without you.
Things can go on without you, so you're saying life goes on without me.
That's awesome.
Because life doesn't necessarily go on so well without you sometimes.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait to hear that.
Thank you.
I'm stoked for this record.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm stoked for people to finally get to hear it. It's been finished since July, and just waited for the right time to release it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, because this is the first relationship record since what, like 2010? Yeah, 2010.
2010. Yeah.
Yeah.
When actually, I still love the first relationship record. It's very organic, more acoustic guitar based. And it holds up when I hear it. I'm very proud of that record too.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one, you're gonna let loose a little bit, a little more rock and roll.
Well, Break Me Open definitely
Break Me Open
does
is definitely
that.
rocking.
Well, it has both elements. Like it does have, have strings on it too.
Yeah.
There's a song called Hawthorne that is another fictional story, and I thought of it like a guy who lives in Hawthorne, which isn't necessarily a hip part of Los Angeles, and nobody's, chomping at the bit to live there. But this guy, he lives there, and he's trying to convince one of those hip East Side LA girls to come live with them, and then it's close to the ocean, and the big selling point is that it's where the Beach Boys are born.
Oh, right.
So I wanted to sound Beach Boysy. And I brought in a string arranger who used to play with the Beach Boys in the 70s, named Elmo Peeler, and he was the touring member of the Beach Boys when Brian Wilson stopped touring.
Yeah.
So he would play all of Brian Wilson's parts.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he is an amazing musician.
Yeah. We actually just caught Brian Wilson this past year at Northside Festival in Brooklyn. He was doing the Pet Sounds anniversary album, and it was an amazing show, but what was really disappointing was that he actually had somebody else singing a lot of the cool Brian parts, you know, because it's hard to reach that register of vocal that he's doing.
Well, at least he knows that he can't.
Yeah.
And his limitations. He's the genius who created it all.
Yeah. So, how do you juggle all this stuff that you're doing? Because
I don't know.
You know, I feel like you're constantly coming out with something, whether it be with the relationship.
Yeah.
Or,
Weezer's releasing a song today called "Feels Like Summer."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
If I had been on the interwebs, I probably would have.
You probably would have seen it. Or, I guess it leaked on some Russian website before the day before or whatever.
Oh damn Russians.
But yeah, we're Weezer's releasing that today, and we're debuting it at South by Southwest live tomorrow, and then we're going to play on Jimmy Kimmel on Tuesday for television.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're going to go basically straight from Austin to
Los Angeles.
To Los Angeles back.
Actually, I have a show with the relationship in San Antonio on Sunday.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm going actually from San Antonio to Los Angeles to be
on Kimmel.
Well, I can't say I'm going from Austin to Los Angeles. It would not be true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's just wild that you're able to be in two awesome bands at the same time, and
it's very it's a luxury to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And because Weezer affords me to, and that Weezer is not working as hard or long as many days of the year as we could be. But because everyone has families and everything, that's just kind of the way we've structured it.
Yeah.
So there's time in the way we structured it for me to do something like the relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. I'm not looking to fill 365 days of the year with playing and touring or anything like that.
Yeah. Do you spend a lot of time with your family or?
Well, my family, what would that be?
I don't know.
My parents?
No. You tell me. What's your? Have you settled down, so to speak?
I guess I'm still looking to settle down. If that's an answer to that. No, I don't. I'm not married. I don't have any kids yet.
But the rest of the guys in
the rest
Weezer,
of the guys are. Yeah.
So
that actually affords me some time
to go out and do.
But having two bands, and it's basically like I have some children I have to watch out for.
Yeah, you gotta take care of them.
Yeah.
And when's the new relationship album coming out?
April 18th.
April 18th.
Yeah.
Had to get confirmation.
Yeah,
from
had to
Kevin,
get confirmation. Yeah.
April 18th,
Yeah.
and so you got a bunch of videos that you're shooting for it.
We got 2 in the can. We got one more. Thank you. An option of power bars.
Is there a particular kind of creative direction you're going with the videos on this one, or?
Well, the first video, I've learned so many things from being in Weezer and seeing how things work and don't work. And one of the things I've always learned, and Weezer's been a very successful at videos.
Yeah,
And and I've got this from Rivers. Is the first video needs to be performance video.
Sure.
Like Undone the Sweater song. So I was very adamant that our first video needs to be performance. So basically, a video is an advertisement of what this band is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it is a performance video, and it's very simple, but very unique. I've never seen anything like it, and I think it's going to be highly effective for us.
That's cool. Those are some of my favorite videos, man. I just want to see what the band looks like.
See
when
the
they're
band
playing.
looks like.
Yeah.
It's distracting when there's too much imagery for
Yeah.
the song.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, and a little corny if there's a storyline.
Yeah,
you know?
unless the song really calls for it.
Unless the
it's
song
like-
really calls for it, but I think the music itself should, and the lyrics should kind of evoke that storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
they do say, video killed the radio star, so, I mean, too much imagery
Too
might
much
not
imagery
be-
is not necessary. Yeah,
Yeah.
We're just overstimulated these days anyway.
Yeah. There's so much to distract us, we're all
Yeah.
constantly buried into our phones that
It's
You
and
know.
even and I've noticed that I got an iPhone for the first time this last year. I've noticed that I've read a lot less, like actual
books. Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's not fun.
not-
did
it's
you read?
cool.
Do you read a lot, like on the road?
I used to
Yeah.
before the iPhone. I used to. On the road it's harder to read for me than being at home. That's
Really?
one reason I like to be at home longer, because I just feel more like I can get in my routine, and I have my piano at my house, and it's hard to practice the piano and on the road, and because a grand takes up a lot of room.
Yeah, it's hard to fit that.
Hard
right?
to fit that, but yeah, I mean, I think maybe because we're constantly moving, I'm more distracted, and reading is something I need to be less distracted from.
Yeah, you kind of need to sit and really
Yeah.
focus on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can be tough. Like I when I read a book, I like to go through and like really, really read it beginning to end in as quick as of a time as I can.
You do?
'Cause if not, yeah.
Oh, I savor it. I savor it. Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite because
I
it's
think
like
it took me a year to read Les Miserables or something. maybe half a year.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, for me, if I do that, it's like with all the other stuff I got going on, it's like I forget what the story is.
Oh, yeah.
I forget
That's
like
true.
key details.
You got a
but
point there.
I guess it depends on the book too.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that just it's impossible to read in a few sittings.
Yeah, you just want to. I like to absorb things and take it in,
Yeah.
but it's also how I work. I guess my mind works.
That's how it
Yeah.
is. So where did you record this new record?
We recorded at a really neat studio in North Hollywood, California, called Valentine Recordings, and we weren't necessarily the guinea pig band, but we were one of the first bands to record there. And it was a friend of ours who's a record producer named Nick Jardouin, I think is how you pronounce his name. It's a French last name. He's from he's from Quebec City, Canada, and he bought this studio in fully furbished with vintage gear and shag carpet that hadn't been changed. Nothing's been changed or touched since the 70s.
Oh wow.
And the room is huge. It's as large as like a room at like, I call it Ocean Way, but I don't think it's called Ocean, like United Recorders, like some of the bigger recording studios in Los Angeles. So it's amazing room sound. The vibe is great. I personally like clinical lighting when we're making a record as opposed to like mood lighting.
Okay. You just
I'd like to
be
get
bright.
into maybe mood lighting with actual candles someday.
Okay.
I'm starting to get more into the element of fire, but I
kind of
do.
scares me the way you said that.
Well, this controlled element that you can control it is I think there's something that sparks something in your brain with fire,
Yeah.
as opposed to
to just lights.
to just lights. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do like this room. It was very yellow and brown in tones and very bright and I could think very clearly in it.
So when you record, do you come in like, or for this record in particular, did you come in with all the songs just ready to go?
I did construct the songs for the most part pre going in the studio because studio time is expensive and
Sure,
you want to
sure.
know what you're doing. And I had a good idea of what songs worked and putting them in the order. And that's one thing that is upsetting about streaming and people having the ability to shuffle your songs.
Yeah.
When it took equally as long time to get the order right, because I'm going to tell the story a certain way, and take your emotions through a journey, as opposed to computers like algorithms to take you through this journey, along with putting us with another band that somehow fit the same algorithm.
Yeah.
But however people get to hear the music and maybe get to experience the record from front to back, the better. We have pressed vinyl, so it is a side A, side B.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's the cool thing is, like, vinyl's making this big resurgence now, and that's one of the things I really appreciate about it, is that when you listen to a record, you have to put it on.
Well, that's
and listen
true.
To
It's a visceral experience, but it's more than that. It's our attention span. It doesn't ask too much attention for someone to listen to one side at a time.
Yeah.
Take a little break and turn it over.
And that break is important. People don't realize that
break is important.
That even just that minute of rest to flip a record is like
flip a record. Use the restroom, and then refocus, regather. Gets lost. It is a lot to ask for somebody to listen to 10 songs for whatever 35, 40 minutes without a break.
Yeah.
I can do it sometimes, but it's even hard for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for everybody with our.
okay.
It's like our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter.
But we must exercise the capacity to lengthen our attention span. I think, or us as a species are going to be so distracted we don't accomplish anything.
Yeah. I'm amazed that people accomplish anything these days.
I am too, actually.
Yeah, like it boggles my mind. Boggles my mind. So, so you're here at South by Southwest, and as you said, you got in yesterday. What's the rest of the week looking like for you? Because, like I said, I saw the band on a lot of bills for this week. So I feel like
we played 2 shows. We have 6 more. I don't know necessarily all at South by. I know one is in San Antonio, and then 2 shows with Weezer. I think tomorrow I'm playing 4 shows, including everything.
Oh my gosh!
In one day. But today's off and just an interview, so I had a great night's sleep. I actually feel really good and like
that's important.
Very clear today.
Yeah. It's important. We were talking about that the other day. Like when you first get here to South by, you got to take it easy on the first day.
You got to take it easy, honestly. I think every day, because
true that.
If you're performing, because that's where your energy should be reserved for.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. You worked hard to get here, and it's you take advantage of this moment.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we are our podcast is actually usually based out of Tampa, Florida. That's where we're all from.
Oh, neat. Love Tampa.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I know Weezer's been there a bunch of times. I don't know if the relationship has or if
we
you're coming
have
soon.
Once. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean it was a very attended, poorly promoted show. But
sorry to hear that.
That sounded good. It happens. Has nothing to do with Tampa.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
My little cousin was 15 at the time, and I took her to the first concert I ever went to with her to see Panic and Weezer.
This year?
It was last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
And after Panic left, there was
it was less than a year ago.
It was less than a year ago, yeah, but it was last year.
Yeah, I got it.
After Panic left, there was some kind of exodus from the crowd, from the young girls that didn't know Weezer. They weren't hip to it yet.
Right.
I thought it was absolutely amazing that a crowd of people in their 30s and 20s were louder than an entire stadium full of 12-year-olds. And that makes me sing for rock and roll.
Oh, cool.
And I appreciate you guys so much for being able to do that.
Well, that was a great experience to go out on tour with them, and kind of an eye-opener to see what the new generation kind of responds to. And I know, it's not really that secretive that Panic was using some backing tracks, but they're also great players, and their sound was fantastic. And I noticed, I was looking around because I would go watch them and try to learn some stuff, and like people didn't seem to care that there were backing tracks. It was totally fine.
Yeah.
And where that used to be kind of a taboo, and you never talked about it, and you considered like Milli Vanilli or something. Now it's okay, and you can make it part of your sound, and it's just maybe a better oral experience for the listener.
Yeah. No, it's not an oral experience.
Yeah, it's not an oral experience.
But it could
Oral.
be.
Yeah. Ones with your ear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, that being said, it got me thinking, I can play Hawthorne live with the strings that we recorded by, using the track, and don't have to bring a string section out because it just doesn't make, much sense to try to do that in a club or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
On the Hollywood Bowl, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, would be obvious, but Weezer's going to use tracks for the first time tomorrow for our new song, Feels Like Summer, because there's so much going on. And it kind of is a cool sound. It's using a computer like an instrument, and I think that's where music's headed, and that's okay as long as you have the human element involved.
Yeah. Well, you're still actually there.
We're still performing. We're
Yeah.
performing, the guitar parts and the singing and all that. There's just too much going on to handle it all.
Yeah.
And it's actually extremely challenging.
Yeah.
There's a lot of syncopation. Playing one, that means like playing one rhythm against a different rhythm. Playing one rhythm on the guitar while you're singing a different rhythm.
Yeah.
Without much practice time.
Yeah. Well, it's at the end of the day that people just want it to sound good.
They just
right?
want it to sound good,
So-
and you want it to sound good for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's the key.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, Brian Bell, it's been great chatting with
great
you. Any final
too.
thoughts for our listeners? Anything you want to say about the upcoming record, or just anything at all? Any thoughts out of the wilderness?
Not really. I think the record will speak for itself, and I hope people enjoy it. And keep supporting music and exploring what's out there, and creating it yourself.
Right on, man.
Okay.
Create it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah. If this music helps inspire and get ideas from, that makes me really happy. Ones with your ear, Anchorman style.